Go.
Go.
And I'll do
Oh.
minute to win it, John. Don't you
All
worry, okay, buddy?
All right. Well, we are live, and so Tom, as you guys heard just now, it is on the record. He has volunteered to do the minute to win it, and I am not to worry about it. So I shall not worry about it. And Tom, take the wheel.
You got it, buddy. Well, I'll just kick this minute off first because nobody even sees this part, right? I mean, this is the part that where no one's even around. We have no streamers joining, so it's like fun to talk about. So I'm still kind of talking to you guys a little bit, but some big news in the old Divine household. Maybe one reason that I haven't been good in comics is because I've been playing Zelda so much, and I just beat it. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. More time than I've put into any other game, over 200 hours. Oof. It was, I bought it. I bought it the very night it came out at midnight in store. Wasn't able to get it because they closed. They opened at 11, but closed at midnight. I told you guys about this a few months back. Or Sam, I don't think you were on the show yet.
Yeah, this is a new one to me.
Yeah, but I told John about this. I tell John about everything, so there's no way he remembers it anyway. But yeah, but so I had to get it the very next morning, the day of it came out, and then I've been playing it since. My son had beaten it right away. And still comes back to it. I was so blown away. Consider it one of the greatest games I've ever played. And I really never feel that about games, unless it's like a Fallout or Skyrim, this other, Zelda games. But this game exceeds where all of those even fell short. And I just finally put it to bed because the new Mario Wonder came out. And so I had to get Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And it's like, I know if I'm going to start playing that will be fun. I need to get back into Starfield. I started it and I need to finish that. So I don't need to do any of these things, obviously, but I want to. So I'm saying goodbye to Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you so much for having the best game for me. I appreciate Zelda, Link, all of my boys, Bo, Birdie, they helped me along the way. And so, yeah, rescued Zelda. See you later, Ganon. Kicked your ass again, like I have on every other one. And yeah, man, it crushed. But I would say that it's the best game ever. And if you guys got a Switch, get Tears of the Kingdom. If you don't have a Switch, it's worth buying a Switch just for that game.
Get to it.
And then you can play the first one after that.
I would say that's a good point. But I would say play that first one first.
Yeah.
Because Breath of the Wild is very fun. But once you play Tears of the Kingdom, you're like, well, this one's better. And so
what makes it so much more to you?
It's the special abilities. So in your first special, in the first game, this is a little bit of spoiler, but you get special abilities where you can throw a bomb, create ice. It's just some different elemental things. And in this new game, you have 4 new abilities that are different from those ones. You don't have any of your old abilities, and your new abilities are like insanely more fun than they've ever been, where you can launch yourself up into any ceiling, and then you can meld through the rocks to whatever's ahead of you. And so Zelda's a climb anywhere, go anywhere game. There's no limitation to where you can go except on the main border. So you can climb on anything, do anything, but you can go into these caves or you can go underneath a castle and you can use all this different problem solving to just like go through ceilings, and you can warp through these ceilings as one of your power. And then there's other powers where you can grab things in time. You can stop time and reverse time. And the way that these special abilities were really thought out for the gameplay just makes it next level shit.
That's cool.
Wow. Because Breath of the Wild was going to be a hard one to top.
It's the best. I agree. I think I loved Breath of the Wild so much, but it's pretty crazy that I think it did get beat a little.
Just a little.
Yeah,
he's even sorry about it. He's like, Breath of the Wild, I'm sorry. You just
I do.
Got destroyed.
I just love it so much, So
heck yeah. Well, Tom, new record for the channel. That was a 4.5 minute to win it. Excellent work. You definitely shattered expectations there with that one. So achievement unlocked and all of that good stuff. But without further ado, I suppose we should open the show. Speaking of which, I'll get into that in a second. But let's open the show, kick it off. best drum roll on a glass desk. It's your boy, John on Demand, aka So Fearful tonight. I'm fearing that Halloween's over, but yet the topic says otherwise tonight. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, joined by co-host extraordinaire, Midwest Highlander, there can only be one, still rocking the pony. Mine is actually hiding, and she does it quite well. But Tom survived meeting one of the Highlanders at SuperCon, so that says a lot. And with this, we are missing a Mark tonight. So we do miss you, Mark, and we hope everything goes well today and throughout the week for your family. And looking forward to seeing you next week. And, of course, Sam, a.k.a. the new hot rod on the comic book look lot. And we are Comic Book Look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. So if you're in the Sioux Falls area, come say howdy to us on 42nd in Minnesota, particularly Wednesday through Saturday, so you can see these beautiful mugs of Sam and I in person. And if you're in the Lincoln, Nebraska area, stop by and say hi to Taylor and the team down there. They'll help you out with those comic book needs. But how the heck are you guys doing? How was Halloween? Let's talk about that.
I really didn't do. I feel a little ashamed because I didn't do anything really that good, big. You know, like you feel like on Halloween you should be doing something.
Sure.
But by the time Halloween finally came, I was like, well, I kind of did everything I wanted to do already. So the day of Halloween actually was going to be a very like paint by the numbers. Wasn't going to do nothing. Just going to read. Did a fair share of that. Got a lot of reading done. So that's good. Still got a stack far too high of read stuff.
Yeah.
But eventually I just went bowling later that night.
That's awesome.
I did bowl very great. Got a 90, a 117, and a 16 and a 138. I think progressively got better, but that's not my best. I'll tell you that.
What was the turnout like at a bowling alley on Halloween?
Pretty fun. It was pretty. Well, it was a 10 o'clock show, so it was probably about like, I would say a third of the lanes.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious more than anything because I don't know what people do on Halloween. It feels very sporadic. Yeah.
Well, that sounds sick, Sam. I mean, I hate to be the opposite, but my Halloween was like packed, Johnny, and it was fun. I dressed as the devil the weekend before. Went as burglars with my wife.
I saw that.
To a fun concert, and that was really, really fun. And then on Sunday I carved pumpkins, and then with my whole family had a pumpkin competition. I lost, but Mabel won best pumpkin for the adults, one of my daughters. So that was awesome. And then on yesterday on Halloween, I got my one daughter dressed as Mabel from Gravity Falls, my other daughter dressed as a hot dog, and then my son dressed as Ghostface from Scream. Cool. And they all went trick-or-treating, and had like all of them had different friends that were hanging out, and my son was like not going to hang out with anybody so he could get the most candy and get to run to more houses as possible, and hit it a few different times. And he was candy crazy, but it was like a really fun late night for us. I watched Abbott and Costello Frankenstein like I have on the last couple Halloweens. It's a very funny, fun Halloween movie that you can have on, and I have a big window, so I always put it on when the people are walking up so they can see a little Abbott and Costello Halloween. Because in Abbott and Costello, it's 1948 movie, and it has the real the guy who played Dracula in like the 1930s Dracula in it. It has the guy who played Frankenstein, the guy who played the Wolfman. It has the Invisible Man, and they're all together with Abbott and Costello making jokes, and it's a great time. So that's amazing. Halloween was awesome. I'm probably going to have a cavity because I definitely stole a few Reese's peanut butter cups for my kids.
That's awesome. Halloween on this side was freaking hopping. Before I jump into that, though, Matt is joining us here, super teammate from SuperCon. Thank you so much. And be sure to check Matt's streaming out, Captain Coop. I always say Captain Cup. So
he's Cup. It's Cup. Definitely Cup. Right. All his friends just call him Cup.
Yeah. So, Matt, thank you so much for tuning in. And, Halloween on my side was actually a little crazy. It's funny that you mention the old Dracula and old Wolfman because I happened to watch both of those.
Yes.
I did that yesterday while I was bagging and taping comics. And so that was fantastic. Yeah. So that was the first time I've seen them. So when I say, you know, hey, I'm just getting going with this Comics by Night thing, I am a true student where I'm starting completely fresh.
Well, sure. Most people haven't seen movie from the 30s. So John, we have to talk about this. This is very exciting. What did you think of Dracula? Did you think it held up as a movie, even though it's 100 years old?
I thought it was fun.
Can you believe how good it does? Like it literally holds up that you could like anybody could watch it and still be excited.
Yeah.
I think it's such a good movie. So that's so exciting. And then you watch which one? Wolfman?
Wolfman. Yep, the original. Yeah.
It's not quite as good in my opinion as Dracula, but I loved it, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. See, maybe I would love to hear your opinion. What'd you think about it?
So this actually started because on Monday I got together with a friend of mine, Steve. He had me over to his place to watch the Wolfman remake with Anthony Hopkins.
Sure.
And so I saw that one first, and then I was like, oh yeah, I should probably check out the original one at some point. So I went in knowing an idea of the story. So it was really fun to do a compare and contrast between the two. I personally like the Wolfman a lot because I love werewolves. You know how I feel about this.
That's true.
And so it's very exciting medium for me to get into, and it's been a lot of fun. Holy comments here. I just have to highlight really quick. Sunny D's just checking in. StarCraft 2 extraordinaire, the general. And I just love that he pops in and says hi. So hello, Sunny D. It's been a minute, and we need to totally do like a virtual coffee sometime or something, because I would love to visit with you. Yeah, so that was that. Otherwise, on Halloween proper, I had my friend Valerie over, and I showed her episode 1, season 1 of Loki to get our little magic in. And then we watched Werewolf by Night in color, which just released on Disney Plus on the 20th of October, because previously it was in black and white. And so that was a lot of fun. Sunny D, that would be great. Yes, we should. We need to schedule that. I'm going to message you on Discord. We're going to get this scheduled, my man. It was really fun to check out the color version of Werewolf by Night. I found that I had an affinity more so towards the black and white charm in regards to the opening sequence with the slashes over the Marvel Studios at the beginning and the rad font and just how vintage it looked. The black and white really added that complete touch to it for me. And I liked at the end how they mic dropped and it went color. And you saw Ted and Werewolf by Night in color at the end of the black and white version. That was really more powerful. The color version was still fun, don't get me wrong, but I much prefer the black and white with the fact that they did that.
Dude.
So that was that. And then I streamed last night on Halloween with Casey from Rainbow Comics, and we reviewed the 4-issue run of Star Trek Halloween. And I was showing the guys this cover before we went live. I wanted to lift it up really quick. This is what got me into this whole series, was Riker turning into a werewolf with the Enterprise by a full moon. If this cover doesn't scream John Runyon, I don't know what does. So I am so excited about this. I love that it exists. Yeah, if I ever meet him, he's gonna be signing this for me. Wait. So yeah. I'll be like, I need you to sign this. And he'll be like, really? Not impressed at all, I'm sure. But I'll be like, oh, fangirl about it. So that was my Halloween, though, in a nutshell. Oh, and complete side note, Aldi's had a jarred pumpkin maple bisque soup. So Valerie and I tried that on top of all the popcorn and stuff we had. And it was a good time. So,
dude, that's sick. And it's always fun revisiting in a show with a friend. So,
yeah. So, yes, Halloween, that's right. It's so random. It is the most random book ever, and I loved it. It was fun. And they were putting them out every single week. This was an impressive cadence for an IDW offering. I was like, holy crap. So I'm glad I checked it out. It was fun.
Love it. All right, guys. I say we get into these books, Johnny boy.
Yes. What are we doing here? You want me to go first? Is that what we're saying?
No, I'm just saying. I say we get into these books. So we're going to talk about our favorite horror books this week. Even though John does that on his other stream every single week, so be sure you check out Comics by Night. If you're following this and you're not watching that, you fucked up. So definitely get your life together and make sure you're following Comics by Night.
There you go.
But we're going to be talking about our favorite horror books, and we've definitely talked about this before. Me and John have been, he posted a Halloween video from 2014 that I completely forgot that we even dressed up and were around his table. So we've done so many that now I've even forgot about a lot of the Halloween episodes. We've definitely talked about this, but we have our young Sam with his fresh mind ready to just share all of his great information that he has. And I'm excited.
Eight pages of notes.
And John and me, yes, of course, we know a lot about each other, but it's fun also for us to share with Sam and you guys again, who, haven't been following for whatever the 13 years that we've been doing it. So I am going to be revisiting a few books that I've talked about in the past, but I think it is really fun to be talking about our favorite books. So I think we'll go around the horn here, and I'd love to hear from Sam first about what's your favorite. And I don't know how many we all have, but we'll just kind of go around the horn until we're out and play it by ear, guys.
So my first one is, I'm picking this one purely because I want to save the other one. Never mind.
Oh, switcherooski, guys.
Wow. Wild card.
I thought about it, and I was like, I have talked about this book previously on our little show here, but I think it's probably the most like horrific and like kind of, it's the book that leaves you on a note and then makes you think, well, think about that now, huh? Why don't you just think about that? It's like, do you want me to think a certain way? No, just think about it. And that was Black Hole by Charles Byrne. You got either of you heard of this one?
Of course, man.
Yep, there we go.
You're just making me so happy right now, Sam, by showing that book. And this is just what a great call.
It's the thing about this book that makes it probably the most definitive aspect of this book is its art. It's like ink, like art that comes with it. You feel like you could like swim in the pool of the in the colors, and like just black and white is all you get in this. And can't really show a lot of the book. I will tell you.
It's a Charles Byrne comic. We can show it because it's a comic book look, but we shouldn't, so we don't burn people's eyes who might have children.
It is just a genuinely really good story about what it's like kind of being young in a small little town, and what happens when a little bit of, I wouldn't say like supernatural horror gets put in that. Like there's like homeless kids who live in the woods. There's mutation afoot. There's people who are just abandoning good situations they have with their parents, and it's like a lot of stuff in this is like has a lot of horror aspects to it. Like the kids have visions and stuff that are like very like weirdly Freudian and things like that. But it's also like the horror of just kind of like, maybe your home life isn't so good. Like maybe there's a reason why you choose the woods before you'd go back and sleep in your bed.
Dude,
so Black Hole is a really good story. It took like 14 years to come out fully published. So
yeah, I mean, it's a true comic too. He put this out on as a coming out from in the 90s and it finished in the 2000s. That's such a cool collection that you have there all together. And the inking that this guy is doing though, with the stark white and black, obviously if you guys have seen Spork, I'm a fan of that kind of work, but this guy is perfection when it comes to inking. I don't know. It's just very heavy ink, as you can tell. But yeah, he does hair like nobody else, has such a stylized, perfect, almost 50s aesthetic to his people, but we're not talking about nice 50s, culture. It's great. I love that you so what were some of your favorite parts of that book, Sam? Have you read it now?
Yeah, I've read this book. I remember I bought this book in Maine, and I read it on the way back to South Dakota. And it's it's a slow little like cook of a book, I would say. Like it starts off, you're learning about these characters, you're learning about like what kids do when they hang out in the woods when no one else is around. And I think probably my favorite part, I wouldn't say this is the favorite part because nothing about this is a good thing, but the part that like really that you do sink into is that our main female character, she just up and leaves her parents because she'd rather live in the woods with the person she loves, and she supposedly thinks is going to be there with her forever. And when that doesn't necessarily happen, like she's gotta, like, she doesn't have the heart to go back, so she just kind of resigns herself. Maybe I'll just be homeless now. And it's probably one of the more, like, it's a devastating little part of the book, but it's also like paired with these like crazy like sky shots, and just like what she would like, the beauty of it, where it goes like, I'm laying in the woods, I haven't eaten in 2 days, but I'm looking at the sky and the calm water, and it seems okay. It was just like, it's scary because of all the undertones to it, and you just don't. And when they kind of come up to the surface a little bit, it just goes, I just wish that didn't happen for you. It's a sad horror, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say I mean, you're right. It's like a background of dread, and with everything. I think that's so cool that you read that book, and I think it's a really good pickup and great recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exactly right. It is sometimes, getting people's heads cut off and getting, gory things, and all of that can be scary. But some of the stuff that's a lot closer to reality and depression and the real world and how the weight of the world and what we have to go through can be the scariest shit, far beyond Frankenstein's. So but yeah, awesome. That's so cool. John, what do you got for us as your book?
Before I hop over to that, one question I'm always curious about with picks like this is for you, Sam, and I guess maybe for any book that we lift up tonight. I'm kind of first of all, I did want to just acknowledge that I love that you identified it as like a sad horror offering, because I'm always curious to hear what scares you about it, because people's responses are sometimes different, where it's the colors, it's the atmosphere, it's a certain character's mannerism, but not everybody else, so it's always fascinating to hear what goes bump in the night for you with that book, and that's always kind of a fun thing. But my question for you is actually a deviation of that. Was this more of a I love the writing book for you, or more of a I love the art book for you, or was it a dream team of both?
I think it's purely just Charles Burns.
Okay.
I think he does it himself. The
just the whole kit and caboodle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's too hard, because that's a book that you can't. I don't think we're going to see art like that ever again.
Okay.
Like that you're not going to get like pure pure black ink art like that in a full sense, unless you're willing to like have a guy wait 15 years like you did with this book.
Yeah.
And the writing on top of it, the art does carry. I will say, like, this, you could have had a really silly story in here and it would still be fine because of the art, but there is a story here that makes you that makes you think. It makes you kind of like, if you're past your teenage years, you go like, oh yeah, I remember that feeling. It's hyper sensitive. It's hyper emotion. Everything's dialed up to 11 in it.
Yeah.
But it just makes you, it's all about like its relativeness to you. And it's just like, I guess I would say it's a dream team pick.
Okay.
It's just the story and the art really complement each other very well.
Home run for you.
Yeah. Home run. Seriously.
Yeah. All right.
Sad.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can follow that. I mean, geez Louise. My next two picks, one is a surprise and one is predictable. So which one do you want, Tom?
Oh, we want that surprise. I mean, we got
that surprise.
I mean, you got such this banger from Sam that you got to go with the surprise.
This is more of a guilty pleasure of mine then. This is from 1992.
Yes.
And it is a publisher called Apple Comics.
Okay.
So Apple Comics did a slew of just adult-oriented comic books, and there was a 2-issue run called Dracula in Hell. I encountered issue 1 when I was out just filing Dracula books, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I totally need to get this, and I didn't even open it. I bought it just blindly, and I'm like, I'm intrigued. I actually encountered the second issue when we were doing some backstock, and so I now have both of them, and I've read them. This is literally Dracula going through hell. However, the book itself is drowning in male genitalia. Like, it is the forms of torture, and at one point he gets transformed into that. And it is the funniest and most bizarre thing ever. And you're through the
Dracula
book,
gets transformed
Yes.
into a dick.
Yes.
Oh,
And it's
Jesus.
the craziest mind trip ever. But
What was this
the thing-
company's name? Apple?
Apple Comics.
Apple.
And
That sounds
and
like a kid's like comic print company.
Yep,
They're doing
definitely
like
not.
vampire
Definitely.
dicks.
Definitely not. There's a lot more stuff that they do that's even crazier. Like
Okay.
multiple people
I
involved.
gotta
kind of
see
thing.
this.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
This
wanna see
needs
this
to
is
be
a thing. This is a thing. And so I just wanted to lift that up because I remember just being like, I felt so bad for the Dracula character because I'm like, wow, this journey really sucks. Like, and the way that it's written, it's almost like it wants to continue on, but there's only 2 issues that exist of it. But what a find. I just thought it was the funniest thing. And I mean, this is like black
When's
and
that gonna
white
be on Comics by
greatness.
Night?
There's no color. I don't think it's gonna make Comics by
Yeah.
Night. I mean, that might be Comics by like night after 2
I-
a.m.
Yeah,
Like
Comics
John's had
After
6
Dark.
beers. John's had 6 beers kind of show, which will happen at some point. But I mean, I can't say I've ever read anything like that to that extent, and it was pretty bizarre. So I wanted to lift that one up just as kind of an entertaining offering to show that horror comics can also be horror funny or horror shock value. So definitely something new for my repertoire, and I didn't see that one coming when I got it.
So you're saying if we're a fan of the Hostel movies, this is what we should be reading?
Yes.
That is so funny, John.
It's
Like,
really rough though. It's
I
so
can-
rough. It's
I
so
am
great,
just-
but it's so rough.
Nothing makes my day more than hearing about this comic. So yeah, I didn't think you were going to be able to top Sam, and yeah, I'm going to have
Yeah,
to.
I think you did it.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
man. Oh man. By the way, I just wanted to catch up on comments really quick here. Chad was checking in with us. Hey crew. Hey Chad. Blair says preach, and Tom, that was at you, I believe, when you were lifting up Sam and how awesome he is, because Chad followed up with Sam is
Whoa, you guys-
amazing. So
You guys are far.
Facebook user is also Chad, but Chad is through our group on Facebook. So a comic book group. It doesn't show the names of the user because of privacy settings or whatever. It's really annoying. But Chad, I saw that was you. If I can find a copy, happy to set one aside for you. It was the most random find ever, and it was pretty funny. So I'm sure we'll have one maybe in the depths somewhere. So we'll find one. Shouldn't be an issue.
Amazing.
Yeah. Tom, what do you got though?
All right.
Excited.
I'm going to start out with a classic, but this is something that I think, of course people think about, but because it's had movies now and because there's still spin-off series and everything comes about, people are still talking about it, but you kind of forget where it started from and how good that art was, because we, after those first few, you don't get the same guy who did the art. And I am talking about Hellboy. So this is the first Hellboy that collects the first 4 issues, and this is when so Mike Mignola does the art, and that's where really why you want to read this. It's extremely stylized art, extremely heavy blacks, but he kind of loves these spreads that really put your mood into a dark, weird place. Uses those on the covers, as you can tell from like this cover right here. But then you get that throughout the whole story with these stark colors of yellow, purple, red, blue. It really drives it out. And then you get guys like this guy. I mean, look how scary and awesome that guy is right there. And it is just a total package when it comes to art. And I think this one particularly is the best because Mike Mignola later does let other people write and draw for him. But in this one, he was just getting going, so he didn't know exactly what the story was, and he had John Byrne. And John Byrne is a extremely famous comic book writer. He has a legendary run on Superman. He has legendary runs on many different comic series. He's written every single comic. And so he teamed up with Mignola teamed up with Byrne and was like, Byrne, can you write the first 4 issues for me? I don't think I have the writing chops to put this out, but I definitely have the art chops. They went together and put this out. And then after this, Byrne goes away and Mignola does it all by himself, and which are still great books, no doubt. I have them all, but there's something about this one. It's all set up here. I mean, you have the origin, where it comes from, BPRD, the world building in this, and the storytelling in this just sets everything up. It even talks about, Hellboy's supposed to know his destruction, and in the current Hellboy line, Hellboy's dead. And spoilers. But that's you have hundreds of comics to read before he gets there, guys.
We'll forget by that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just think this origin, if you want to pick any Hellboy, this is the best place to start right at the beginning. You have nobody helping Mignola on art. That is the most important part. Nobody helps. So he's doing the cover, the interiors, every panel, every layout. And it's successful. So he later gets a lot of money, and he doesn't do the layouts, the art, anything. He'll do a few covers here and there. So it's good to get back on this one.
Heck yeah.
Hellboy.
Boom.
Have I ever
That's
told
cool.
you guys the weird Hellboy story I have?
Oh no, let's hear it.
So, are you guys aware of the cartoon Gerald McBoing Boing?
No.
Okay. You don't need to really, but for the sake of it. But just so you know, Gerald McBoing Boing is a cartoon made in, like, God, if I know, but somehow I remember it's a cartoon about a kid who can only make sounds.
Gotcha.
So, like, he talks to his parents only in, like, ching, blang, 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 that kind of stuff. And so this is important. I remember one day after school, I was sick, as I was supposed to be in school and sick. I get a DVD from my dad, a couple DVDs to watch just to pass the time. One was the first Hellboy movie.
Nice.
And I watched this, and I'm loving this movie. It's really cool. Demon Man with big stone arm punching people. I'm like, what's not to love? There's a big fish dude in a tank. All right, let's go. If you go into the features of the DVD release, one of them at least, of the Hellboy movie, in the special features, there is episodes of Gerald McBoing Boing that you can just watch for free.
Why?
I don't know.
What?
Yes,
That
this is a real thing that happens. And I
Was it
watched
an accident?
No, I Googled it a little bit, and apparently those were Guillermo del Toro's favorite cartoons.
What? That is so strange.
That was after like a 4-second Google, though, so don't quote me.
Oh my
God, how cool.
Yeah, like, so it's just, first off, you got to know Hellboy. First off, you got to know the very specific release of Hellboy, and then you also got to know what Gerald McBoing Boing is.
I love it.
All right, sorry to keep us off track, but I thought
because
of
it's
that
back
when-
to you, Sam. So what's your next book?
So my next book, I guess I apologize for only finding horror adjacent books, but in the time I found here, but the one I have next is Walked So the Boys Story That Could Run. Anybody remember Brat Pack?
No, I don't think I know Brat Pack.
Brat Pack is created by Rick Veitch, a very controversial creator.
Yeah, definitely. He did Swamp Thing for a long time.
Yeah. He did this book out of retaliation of how pissed he was at fans for killing Jason Todd. He did this book to show people how he perceived them two sidekicks. This is a angry book.
Oh my God.
If you could take all the worst traits of some Justice League members and some Avengers characters kind of morphed together, dial it up to 15, you get some genuinely awful hero characters in this that like ruin generations of like sidekicks.
Oh my God.
And it shows you like how bad it really could get. And that's what's scary about it to me, I think. It's a bit of an adjacent thing, but it's like, it is definitely worth the read because you see, like, as adults, you're supposed to, like, you just be role models for kids, right? They do literally everything. Tell these kids to do everything off. Everything is do all the drugs, to have all of the intercourse, do like literally prostitute yourself out. There's like awful stuff, and it shows you the worst of humanity, and it's all because Rick Veitch was pissed at DC for letting the fans kill Jason Todd.
Yeah,
it is a fascinating little book that I'm glad I have, but it is angry and it is scary in a way where if you met this person, you'd try to get out of the conversation as fast as you could.
Woof.
Yeah.
That is funny, man.
Yeah, look into it, man. It's a great story, but it also it's a bit of a gut punch.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. Love it. You're coming out a lot of good books today, guys. A lot of good books. John, what do you got for your next one?
You know, I'm scrolling right now because my next one, it's so predictable, and you're gonna be like, oh, this again.
No, it's not. That's okay.
But it's a tried and true. I mean, I only bring up the best of the best.
That's arguable, but
what? Okay. Anyways,
everybody has an opinion.
All right. But I gotta lift it up. I'm so sorry for everyone that's heard me say this, but our friends from Vault Comics.
Yes.
Autumnal.
It has to.
Autumnal.
I can't believe I didn't think of it, John. I should have brought this up.
You know, I'm bringing this up because it has that seasonal flair, you guys. 8 issues of greatness. If you shop at Rainbow Comics, check out A Miscellaneous towards the end, right before you hit the Avengers. You're going to see that beautiful, beautiful chunk of autumnal that we have. It is just fantastic. It basically depicts a mom and daughter fleeing from a big city to a quaint town where the mom grew up in. And there's a local myth about don't play in the Leafs around this time of the year. And then it really just gets dark and trippy from there. I will say that she gets to know a tattoo artist in the area who's actually really handsome. And I was really sad about his fate in that book. But this series in 8 issues has it all. It has building relationships in the community. It has, it's exploring the mom, but also the daughter in terms of how they're doing with their new and old roots and setting roots in this new place to the daughter. And then, of course, with the tattoo artist, and then getting to know the antagonist as well and understanding the basis of the local stories. I don't want to spoil it because I personally hope that we do have some Rainbow customers that have a chance to check it out. Or if you do shop at a different local comic shop, just try it out. Autumnal, it's just spelled autumn and an AL at the end. Fantastic read. It came out. When did it come out, Tom? 2020. And I just gush about it all the time. I can't recommend it enough. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick, John. I mean, we love that book. That's so we gotta keep bringing that up. I don't think it's cliche. Thank you for giving us the reminder of how good it is.
It's an indie book too. So like, when's it not a good time to talk about indie books?
Yeah. And I just again, this one was, I asked earlier about, was it writing, was it art? This is grand slam for me on both. I just remember loving it from start to finish, and it's one of those books, like, I can read a million X-Men issues and be like, meh, whatever. But when I read this, it was so iconic and just different and fresh that it's just stuck with me over the years. And I actually have reread it a couple of times where I'll get it out and just revisit it. So I highly recommend it, though. I might even give it a home on my spinny rack, to be honest with you, just because I enjoy them. And that's what what comics are for.
That's awesome, John. I wanted to just mention also, Sam talked about like this thing where, sometimes the horror is through, how your day is. And it doesn't matter if you're, you haven't eaten in 2 days, you can still find beauty in things. And it's weird because Autumnal kind of shows that same thing. There's this underlying dread. It's talking about personal family issues and the way that people feel about somebody from what they've heard, and all of this same kind of thing where it's like, but this girl or this mom, is able to find happiness where she can. even though there's a bunch of things coming down on her, but she's feisty. Yeah, I love that book, John. Great call.
Also, I saw a comment here from Blair. Comics by Night on HBO in the future.
Now we're talking.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. We'll see.
Somebody's got to replace Bill Maher one of these days.
We will see. So, Tom, what do you got?
All right, my last one. It's actually a quad set. I don't have one of the books, but I'm going to go all the books by Mark Wagner.
Yeah.
I wish Dead Cells was in here as well. These also are not necessarily horror books in the same sense, but they all have an underlying existential dread behind each of the books. So Metal, Missing Cat, Content Rot, and then Dead Cells. Even though there may be simple abstract stories that are not telling always like clear linear stories, the way that it's gone about and you pick up the story, you can tell like it makes you uncomfortable. There's a weird feeling in everything. Is this right? It definitely reminds you of, like taking drugs and not going exactly how you want it to go with like psychedelics or something like that. It is there's such good books that I would definitely check out anything Mark Wagner does. It's kind of like Sam. It's not horror, but there is a sense of some sort of, you don't like it and badness and things awry. Yes, definitely. You feel unease even when you're laughing about, a midnight movie, a horror movie. This is about a horror movie showcase, and it's funny, but there's still also, a feeling of trappedness and a lot of other things as well. So yeah, that's my last one.
Yeah, heck yeah. This was quite the merry-go-round tonight, gentlemen. I was telling Sam that, like usually, when we're like, this will be a smaller show, it ends up being one of the craziest in terms of not only engagement, but also just the conversations that surround it. So definitely super cool. I was curious, did you guys want to break the rules on this channel? And do you want me to throw on that video?
Oh, hell yeah.
We're all on for Comics by Night.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You want to do it? All right.
We got to show this thing to the people, man.
So we're going to flip really quick to the Comics by Night stage.
That's cool.
But I'm going to go ahead and roll the video here, and you guys will see some familiar faces if you haven't had a chance to watch this already. It's fun. Take a look. I love it. All right.
Casey is still the best part of that for me.
The what?
Just that.
Casey
does so great. I love it. Right?
He was saying I played because he was on the show last night, and I played the videos, and he had his buddy right beside him, and his buddy was evidently just cheesing out when those videos were playing.
It was so great. Because me and Tom are a bunch of hams, just like, oh, look at us, and it just gets like, you could probably tell that like Casey's had that genuine experience maybe once or twice.
That was a good time. But anyways, this is a really cool episode, and to Tom's point, it's so easy for Tom and I to really lose track. I mean, when you have 13 years of history on the channel, I mean, I just pulled one randomly, and there were like 5-6 to choose from. I think that we did a focused Halloween show, and I just was like, let's do that one, And then I had to tune in.
Mr. Freeze costume. You guys should check it out just for that.
Because I was like, who's dressed as what on this one? It's always fun to see, you know. And so, but yeah, I love lifting that kind of stuff up and just having that history on this channel. So, yeah,
For sure.
By the way, for those of you tuned in, just so you know, we are in the process of working on a little something for this channel too. So more to come on that, and I am personally really geeking out about it, and it will be amazing. So, because we have 4 awesome minds kind of just like throwing ideas out there and stuff. So more to come on that. So Comic Book Look might very well also be on HBO. I don't know, but it'll be cool. Closing thoughts on spooky comics, gentlemen.
I would just say that comic books, there's tons of spooky comics, and it doesn't have to be October or November to find spooky comics. Every single week, there's horror-based comics that come out. And so if this is your thing, head to your LCS, start supporting physical media. It's important. There are artists out there that could be replaced by AI any day. So we need to support these writers and illustrators as much as we can. And yeah, if any of your friends watch TV or movies, well, then there's comics out there that they'll enjoy as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much in the comments. Holy participation tonight. We do this. We love connecting with you guys, and we love hearing from you. So thank you. Thank you. If you are joining us on YouTube and want to continue the conversation, check out our group on Facebook, A Comic Book Look. We're happy to tune in, get connected, and have some fun. Blair, I see that. I love this. Oh, wait, hold up. Chad, first spooky comic for me was 90s Morbius. Hey, that's a good one too. I might be biased. But Blair, Halloween/horror is a state of mind, not just October. Boom. And also my other channel. So I like that. I like that a lot. But thank you guys so much again for making this just a really cool community. It truly is an arena of ideas and thoughts and feelings and creativity. And that's what I just love about comic books. And I just love getting to connect with all of you. With that, we'll go ahead and shut it down. We are Comic Book Look on the social medias. You can find me at @JohnOnDemand on the Instas and Twitters, or X's now, I guess. X gonna give it to you. And then Tom Stu Divine on the X's and Instagrams as well. Noleman12 for Sam here is actually his TikTok handle. He's pretty hip and has a TikTok account and does quite well with his comic book reviews. So he's showing us.
We can't be that old that we think Sam's hip just because he has a TikTok. Are we that old?
My hair.
We're that old, I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
That's the my grandson knows how to type on a computer. He's a computer genius.
Yeah. Sam is the future of the channel, Tom.
Yeah. I did just post a 10-minute video on TikTok yesterday, though, not too long ago. So if you're there, check it out.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Again, we are Comic Book Look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. If you're in the Sioux Falls area, again, stop by Wednesday through Saturday in particular. Say hi to Sam and I in these beautiful mugs of ours. We're there all day, every day, Wednesday through Saturday. If you're in the Lincoln area, swing on by and say hi to Taylor and the team down there and tell them that A Comic Book Look sent you, because they are just a wonderful group and they have a fun selection of books. But until next time, we will rock it. I am missing my 4th co-host tonight, so I'm gonna say keep it comics, and I'm gonna let one of you fill in the rest with.
You gotta do it.
I'll do it.
No, I think he has to do it this time. We've both done it.
We're boring. Boom.
Isn't that Sarge? I don't know.
that was both. That was a mix of Sarge and Mark. You know,
it's all in there, right? Yeah.
So should we call it Marge then? I'm confused.
Marge.
Yes, we definitely do.
Marge Simpson.
Oh man. All right. Well, you guys have an excellent week in comics. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll be back with you hopefully next week. And we'll try to keep you posted on holiday operating hours too, because life gets a little busy. But we'll see you guys